on. A very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Campaigning ends for the fourth phase of Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections. 53 constituencies in 12 districts of Bundelkhand region go to polls on Thursday. Pakistan Defence Minister calls Jamaat-ud-Dawa Chief Hafiz Saeed a security threat. Statement comes after his government imposes Anti-Terrorism Act on the Mumbai attacks mastermind. On his 5-day tour of Rwanda and Uganda, Vice President Mohammed Hamid Ansari calls terrorism a major hurdle to peace, urges concerted international efforts to deal with terrorism. Big test for the Shiv Sena against the BJP in Mumbai. Election concludes for the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, the civic body that it has dominated for the last 2 decades. On his 5-day two-nation tour of Rwanda and Uganda, Vice President Mohammed Hamid Ansari today called for concerted international efforts to deal with terrorism. Addressing a gathering at the University of Rwanda in Kigali on the last day of his visit to the country, the Vice President called terrorism a major hurdle in the quest for peace and can't be justified on any grounds. Stating that India remains committed to ensuring stability and peace in Africa under a genuine multilateral effort led by the United Nations, the Vice President informed that India has over 6,000 personnel committed to UN peacekeeping duties in Africa. He said the reform on political, security and economic institutions of global governance has been a key area of cooperation. According to him, both Africa and India have underlined the urgency of undertaking such reforms, including a meaningful expansion of the United Nations Security Council. India and Rwanda have signed 3 MOUs in the field of innovation, aviation and visa requirements. Vice President Mohammed Hamid Ansari is on a 5-day two-nation tour of Rwanda and Uganda. Here's more.
India and Rwanda signing 3 MOUs after delegation-level talks between the two sides. The agreements are in the field of innovation, aviation sector and visa requirements. In innovation, the two countries will set up an entrepreneurship development center in the Rwandan capital Kigali, while in aviation, Rwanda Air will start services to India in the coming months. Both countries will mutually exempt visa requirements of diplomatic and official passport holders as well.
Our bilateral relations are marked by cordiality, convergence of views and cooperation on major international issues. Bilateral trade and investment have shown a healthy rise. Trade between Rwanda and India has been steadily increasing over the past few years.
On the occasion, Rwanda's Prime Minister Anastase Murekezi said the 3 MOUs will boost economic and business ties. Vice President Ansari underlined the growth prospects in Rwanda.
Rwanda today, ladies and gentlemen, offers a range of prospects to foreign investors, including in renewable energy, infrastructure, agriculture, mining, tourism, and information and communication technology. The spectacular growth story of Rwanda, it's a result of its prudence and vision of Rwandan leadership, represents the dynamism and opportunities of the African continent.
The Vice President also launched the India-Rwanda Innovation Growth Program. The pilot project aims to boost ties in areas of science and technology.
After this pilot project, the program is proposed to be implemented in the East African community in 7 countries and will then be scaled to 7 other economic zones across Africa. Under the program, 20 demonstrated and validated Indian technologies and innovations are expected to be adopted over a period of 2 years.
Vice President Ansari earlier paid a visit to the Kigali Genocide Memorial. He attended a government-hosted luncheon at the hotel which had sheltered over 1,200 people during the Rwandan genocide in 1994. He then met the President of the Senate, Bernard Makuza, and held bilateral talks. Vice President Hamid Ansari also called on the President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. The Vice President is on a 5-day two-nation tour to Rwanda and Uganda. Smita Nai's report from Kigali, Rwanda, for Sabha TV.
Well, Rwanda is among few countries in the world where women are ahead in every field. It has the world's most number of women MPs. Even after the 1994 horrific massacre, Rwandan women have their presence at all fronts. Our correspondent Arvind Kumar Singh spoke to Lata Natarajan, a social activist, and asked her about the status of women in Rwanda. Let's listen in.
ये तो बहुत अच्छी देश है. It's a very beautiful and nice country, especially for women. Security wise, like it's not like other African countries. We can go about in the night at 10 o'clock and we can wear our jewels. अकेले भी जा सकते. इतना security है. और cleanliness बहुत है और इधर community भी बहुत अच्छा है. ज़्यादा community है इधर. गुजराती, तेलुगु people, Tamil people, Malayalis. हम सब इकट्ठा we get together for the Indian Independence Day.
In other news, now Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged United States on Tuesday to keep an open mind on admitting skilled Indian workers. Welcoming a team of US congressional delegates to India, Prime Minister Modi listed the contributions of the Indian skilled workers, especially from the IT sector, in scripting the growth story of the United States. This is the first delegation of the US congressmen to visit India after Donald Trump formed the government. Indians are the largest group of recipients of the H-1B visas issued each year in new applicants under a cap mandated by Congress. The actual number of Indians working in the United States under the H-1B program is significantly higher. Well, let's now get you the latest from the ongoing assembly elections in verdict 2017. Campaigning for the fourth phase of Uttar Pradesh Assembly polls ended today. 53 constituencies and 12 districts of Bundelkhand region will go to the polls on February 23rd. Rai Bareilly, Allahabad, Jhansi, Chitrakoot, Fatehpur and Pratapgarh are some of the prominent constituencies. A total of 630 candidates, including 50 women, are in the fray in this phase of elections. In Congress, President Sonia Gandhi's constituency, Rai Bareilly, party leader Akhilesh Singh's daughter Aditi Singh will be contesting. In the 2012 polls, out of the 53 seats in this phase, the Samajwadi Party won 24, BJP 5, BSP 15, Congress 6 and others 3. BJP President Amit Shah and BSP Chief Mayawati addressed rallies in Uttar Pradesh ahead of the fourth phase of elections. In a huge show of strength in Allahabad, Amit Shah claimed that BJP was set to form the government with full majority in the state. Mayawati, on the other hand, slammed the BJP at a rally in Gonda.
On the last day of the campaigning for the fourth phase of the assembly polls in Uttar Pradesh, BJP President Amit Shah held a roadshow in Allahabad. Claiming that the BJP is poised for an absolute majority, he slammed the ruling Samajwadi Party government over stalled development in the state.
वो व्यक्तियों के लिए नहीं, किसी को विधायक बनाने के लिए, किसी को मुख्यमंत्री बनने का चुनाव नहीं है, कोई दल को जिताने का, कोई दल को हराने का चुनाव नहीं है। ये चुनाव यूपी का भाग्य बदलने का चुनाव है मित्रों, यूपी का भाग्य बदलने का। 15 साल से सपा बसपा बसपा सपा जो क्रम चला है, उत्तर प्रदेश को बहुत पिछड़ा बना।
BSP Chief Mayawati addressed a rally in Gonda where she targeted the BJP on its promises. She also accused Prime Minister Modi for injecting a caste and religious angle to the campaigning.
ये नोटबंदी का फैसला केवल अपने राजनीतिक स्वार्थ में, अपने लोकसभा चुनावी वायदों पर से जनता का ध्यान बांटने के लिए ही लिया गया है। सामाजिक क्षेत्र में भी केंद्र की वर्तमान भाजपा सरकार ने अपनी हीन व जातिवादी मानसिकता के चलते यहाँ विशेषकर उत्तर प्रदेश सहित पूरे देश के दलितों, आदिवासियों वे अन्य पिछड़े वर्गों के लोगों का अधिकांश मामलों में पहले से भी काफी ज्यादा शोषण व उत्पीड़न आदि किया है।
Mayawati also claimed that the BSP had given representation to all castes and religions in ticket allocation without discrimination. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Meanwhile, ahead of the fourth phase of the Uttar Pradesh elections on the 23rd of February, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav and Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi held a joint roadshow in Allahabad on Tuesday. The roadshow was conducted between Alapur Police Chowki to Ganthagar Road. Earlier, Rahul also addressed a public meeting in Raebareli, targeting Prime Minister Modi. He said farmers have been left with no money and small traders were destroyed by his government's decisions. Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav also held rallies in Pratapgarh and Kaushambi districts.
रोजगार कौन देता है? रोजगार बड़े उद्योगपति नहीं देते। रोजगार छोटे दुकानदार, छोटी फैक्ट्रियां, छोटे उद्योग देते हैं। उनको नरेंद्र मोदी ने खत्म कर दिया पूरा। किसी भी दुकानदार से जाकर पूछ लीजिए नवंबर के बाद, 8 नवंबर के बाद क्या हुआ, वो आपको बता देगा भैया।
The Election Commission is all set to conduct free and fair polls in Uttar Pradesh in the fourth phase on February 23rd. Speaking to Rajya Sabha Television, Uttar Pradesh Chief Electoral Officer T. Venkatesh said that appropriate action would be taken against all poll illegalities. He also exuded confidence that the fourth phase will witness record voter turnout.
Preparednesses, we have been preparing for these phases from August in purification of our electoral roll, and now actual phases with regard to the actual preparedness for the poll. One is making all the arrangements, whether it's stationery, the seals, the ink, the first level checking of the electronic voting machines, checking of the VVPATs wherever they are put. In addition, deployment of polling personnel and using computerization and a software so that it is confidential and totally objective. Second is at the same time a huge drive of preventive action in terms of arms deposition, catching of illegal arms factory, every day raiding and getting illicit liquor. So all these preventive measures to ensure that on the day 23rd we are prepared for a free, fair and peaceful polling.
Right, sir. In the previous phases, we saw instances of paid news, instances of use of muscle power, money power. How do you plan to avert that now in the fourth phase?
I'll just tell you, for paid news, we have committees at the state level and at the district level, and we have been taking effective action. I would give you a detail what are the actions we have taken at district level and also at the state level.
So how do you plan to motivate the voters to get an impressive voter turnout?
Fortunately for us, in the first three phases, results have been very positive, and both in rural and urban areas, we have got good results. Except a few in the western part, Lucknow has got first class. For the first time since independence, it has crossed 60%. So that's a positive sign, and the way percentages are, we are doing well, and definitely we'll keep this in mind for our next four phases. We will improve our voter awareness measures, try to focus also on the urban areas.
Tell us about the facilities for differently abled voters.
I would just say, when we started off in August, out of our 14.12 crore voters, we focused as per the Commission's directives on PWDs, the young voters. We got the details from the Welfare Department and ultimately tagged and made a list of 7.91 lakh voters, tagged them exactly which address, which polling station. And we also at the same time sensitized our district administrators to give them facilities, to make a cluster approach, to facilitate them.
Tell us about the security measures in the vulnerable and sensitive pockets.
I would say, without giving the details of the forces, huge deployment of central paramilitary forces, supplemented by our state forces, then also web streaming, supplemented further by micro-observers, static magistrates and video cameras in use of digital cameras. All this to make it more transparent.
Manipur Chief Minister Okrami Bobi Singh today said that he was ready for tripartite talks with the United Naga Council to end the 3-month-long economic blockade. Bobi also accused the BJP of having a tacit understanding with the UNC and said that the Saffron Party's game plan will fail in the March elections. The state is witnessing an indefinite economic blockade by UNC since November 1, 2016 against the state government's decision to create 7 new districts by bifurcating the existing ones. Supply of essential commodities including fuel has been severely hit. Essential commodities are seeing an exorbitant price hike after the blockade on NH2 and NH37, the 2 lifelines of the state. Well, Mumbai voted today to decide which party will control the country's richest civic body, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation or BMC. Mumbai registered 52.17% votes by the close of voting at 5:30 p.m. These polls are being seen as a mini battle within a direct fight between the Shiv Sena and the BJP. Uddhav Thackeray, of course, has called off his party's 2-decade-old alliance with the BJP, and both sides have since then engaged in a shrill and personal campaign against each other. This is a big test for the Shiv Sena, which has dominated the BMC for 2 decades. Loss would further dent their image in the regional and national politics, where the BJP has turned a senior player. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has staked his reputation on the line, claiming that the BJP loss would be his own responsibility. The BMC has an annual budget of 37,000 crores, more than that of some states. Out of the 227 seats, Shiv Sena had won 75 in the previous polls, the BJP won 31, the Congress 52 and the NCP 13. Voting was also held for 9 other municipalities in Maharashtra today, including those in Nagpur, Thane, Pune and Nashik. Counting will take place on Thursday.
मतदारांना धन्यवाद देतो आहे आणि त्यांच्याकडनं ज्या उत्सवामध्ये मतदान होते मला नक्कीच खात्री आहे आशीर्वाद मिळाल्याशिवाय राहणार नाही.
मुंबई में भी भाजपा को स्पष्ट बहुमत मिलेगा. जनता हमारे साथ है और हमारी जनता से कमिटमेंट है
कि वे लोग अलग लड़ रहे हैं तो इससे जरूर हमारा फायदा होगा, लेकिन हम खास करके मुंबईकरों के लिए क्या है इस चुनाव में, हम वही जनता के सामने रखना चाहते हैं.
Here's a roundup of the other news from across the country nationwide. The indefinite Bandh called by the Joint Coordination Committee in Nagaland has been called off. This comes in the wake of Chief Minister T.R. Zelang quitting from his post and Party President Shurhozili Elitsu being made the unanimous choice of the Democratic Alliance of Nagaland legislators. Now he will be sworn in on Wednesday. The BSF gunned down a terrorist in an attempt to foil an infiltration bid in Rajouri sector of Jammu and Kashmir. Last night, BSF troops observed suspicious movements and organized effective and calibrated fire in which one terrorist was neutralized. A detailed search was conducted in the morning in which arms and ammunition were recovered. Minister of State for Environment, Forest and Climate Change Anil Madhav Dave on Tuesday said that it is wrong to rely on foreign institutions that provides data and reports on air pollution. He further added that the central and state government needs to work 365 days on it. It's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Embarrassing for you as a very senior leader, like who was projected as a chief ministerial phase, and now you're forced to retract?
Time came when it would be embarrassing for 2 party contest jointly and have 2 chief ministerial candidates would be something which is very awkward and odd. So I decided that I would step out.
is it not a bigger battle for 2019? It's not Rahul, but it's Akhilesh Yadav probably who will be the face of the 2019.
Circumstantially, you cannot predict that this will happen or that will happen. But of course, the media has this habit of being the first to say something.
Watch senior Congress leader and former Chief Minister of Delhi, Sheila Dikshit, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Pakistani Defence Minister Khwaja Asif today called Jamaat-ud-Dawa chief and Mumbai attacks mastermind Hafiz Saeed a security threat to his country. Asif made the comment while addressing the Munich counter-terror meet in Germany on Monday. Recently, the Indian government cautiously welcomed Pakistan's decision to go after Saeed under the country's Anti-Terrorism Act for the first time. Meanwhile, Pakistan cancelled licenses of 44 weapons issued to Hafiz Saeed and other members of his organizations, citing security reasons. A Punjab Home Department official said that the step had been taken in line with the government's action against Saeed and his organizations, the Jamaat-ud-Dawa and the Falaha-e-Insaniyat. In January, the government put Saeed and 4 other leaders of his organizations under house arrest in Lahore for 90 days. Meanwhile, there was another terror attack which rocked Pakistan on Tuesday as 3 suicide bombers targeted a court complex in northwestern Pakistan district of Charsadda, killing at least 5 people and wounding more than 20. One attacker blew himself up outside the court while 2 were killed by policemen before they could enter the building. Pakistan Taliban faction Jamaat-ul-Ahrar has claimed responsibility for the attack. A wave of recent attacks has gripped Pakistan with more than 100 people being killed in the past 10 days. The deadliest of last week's attacks was on a famous Sufi Muslim shrine in Sindh province, in which more than 80 people were killed by suicide bombers.
ये एरिया सेंसिटिव था और पूरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में पूरे सूबे में कोर्ट्स को जो है वो अलर्ट किया गया था. उसमें हमने आज तकरीबन जितने भी सेंसिटिव इंस्टॉलेशन थी और खास करके ये जो कोर्ट्स हैं इस पे हमने एक्स्ट्रा डिप्लॉयमेंट की हुई थी और हमने इधर नाकाबंदियां भी की हुई थी और इसके इतराफ में सर्च ऑपरेशन भी.
Here's a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. 4 US citizens and an Australian pilot have died after their plane crashed into a shopping centre in Melbourne, Australia. Police said that the charter flight appeared to have had a catastrophic engine failure shortly after taking off from the airport. Despite the destruction, no one was killed or injured on the ground. Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov on Tuesday paid tribute to Russia's ambassador to the United Nations, Vitaly Churkin, who died yesterday. Lavrov laid flowers in the Foreign Ministry building and wrote a message of remembrance for Churkin, who represented Russia at the UN for 11 years. Lavrov praised Churkin for his service as a high-profile diplomat. Hundreds of people staged a Stop Trump rally on Monday in London's Parliament Square as British politicians were discussing about the state visit by US President Donald Trump. Members of the Parliament in Britain's House of Commons have debated the proposed state visit. It followed a petition by Parliament signed by 1.85 million Britons calling for Prime Minister Theresa May to withdraw her invitation to Trump. Despite the petition, the second biggest since parliamentary petitions were introduced, there is no obligation on the government to act. Let's shift focus now and bring you up to speed with some sports news in Sports Beat. Indian Grandmaster Dronavalli Harika made it to the quarterfinals of the World Women's Chess Championship after defeating Sofiko Guramishvili of Georgia in the second set of the tie-break games. In her last 8, Harika will clash with another Georgian, Nana Zagnidze. However, the other Indian in the competition, Padmini Raut, lost to Tan Zhongyi of China in the tiebreaker. Brazilian football star Neymar and his club Barcelona will stand trial on corruption charges over his transfer from Brazilian team Santos. Brazilian investment group DIS, which owned 40% of Neymar's transfer rights, has claimed that it received less money than it was entitled to during the transfer. Prosecutors are seeking a 2-year prison sentence and a fine of nearly £8 million on Neymar. Arsenal defeated non-league side Sutton United 2-0 to reach the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Lucas Perez's cross shot gave the Gunners the lead after 26 minutes before Theo Walcott doubled the advantage from close range after the break with his 100th goal for the club. That's it on this newscast. Have a good night.